Usually.
Oh, yeah,
Now it did show
It's
up.
now recording. Yes, thank you.
It is?
Yes, it is now
Zero has the
recording.
official
We are
word.
now recording. Okay, we left off yesterday after the eating of the matzah, the maror, and the korech, and now we're up to shulchan orech. The Gemara records that one should not eat. Well, the Gemara doesn't say it. The poskim say it, based on the Gemara, that one should not overeat. One should not eat so much that it becomes that the afikomen is eaten as achila gasa, which means stuffing your face, so to speak. One shouldn't overeat and then eat the afikomen. The afikomen has to be eaten b'tei avon, with a little bit of an appetite. Now, there are two types of achila gasa. One type of achila gasa is a person says, they ask, did you have enough to eat? Oh, I feel stuffed. And then they ask him, would you like some chocolate cake for dessert? Oh, I always have room for chocolate. Here's a person that is still capable of eating the afikomen, even though they say they are full. But if the person says, I am so full, if you give me one more thing to eat, I'm leaving the table, I don't want to, I'll just give everything out. What about some nice chocolate cake and ice cream? Please, I'm not interested. Don't give me anything. That's achila gasa. Consequently, we have to be aware we should not reach the point where we're actually at the point of achila gasa. The word afikoman itself comes out from the idea that you're going apik mine metika. Apik mine metika means bring out some kinds of sweets. Consequently, we shouldn't eat so much that we couldn't eat some kinds of sweets, and we should eat the afikoman, the last thing. And consequently, we have to be careful when we're eating the dinner, leave room for the afikoman. The afikoman, of course, is going to be matzah, and that's going to remain as the taste in our mouth. Now, the Gemara in Pesach on Kuf Yutes, we know that we say the word ein maftirin achara Pesach afikoman. We don't eat anything after the afikoman. The fact is, after the eating of the tzofun of the afikoman, we eat nothing else. We do drink, but only wine and beverages that are not flavored, like water is certainly acceptable. But we shouldn't drink those things which will take away the taste of the wine or of the afikoman. And we shouldn't drink so much wine from each cup that will become so foggy that we won't be able to finish the Seder. I've emphasized already at the beginning, to keep in mind, please, Abosai, the kos only has to be 3 ounces. If you have a kos that's 4 ounces, which there are very beautiful kosos available, at 4 ounces, you can finish just 1 ounce and you fulfill male lugmav. The only time you might need a little more, as we're going to see, is when we're finished with the 4th cup. I'll explain that in a minute. In the meantime, let's keep in mind that after the afikoman, we don't eat anything else, and we don't drink anything but the wine. And in fact, Rabbi Yehuda on Daf Kuf Yutes Amud Beis says, "Ein maftirin achar matzah afikoman." We don't even eat anything after the matzah, which is the afikoman. Please keep in mind that the afikoman is a reminder of the Korban Pesach. Because the afikoman is a reminder of the Korban Pesach, therefore, we have to be aware that we're supposed to lean when we eat the afikoman. We're supposed to lean to the left. We're supposed to lean to the left when we eat the afikoman. Let's say a person did not lean. They forgot to lean. Do they have to eat another piece of afikoman? They can't anymore. No. If you didn't lean, you don't have to eat another piece of afikoman. What happens if a person forgot to eat the afikoman? And they were about to bench. And they already washed mayim achronim. What do? So if you already washed mayim achronim and you said, Rabosai, Mevel benching or Abotai Nevarech. And if you started the benching, finish the benching, go wash your hands again, Netilas Yadayim, make a motzi on the afikoman, eat it while leaning, and then drink the third cup. And that's what you have to do. So it's very important that if you already missed the afikoman, you have to go back and eat the afikoman.
Do we eat before benching or after benching?
The afikoman is before benching. It's the last thing of the meal. The last thing of the meal, okay? And the benching is said on a kos, the third cup, and after the benching, we drink the third cup. So if a person already benched, they go back and they wash again, they eat the afikoman, and then they bench and then make the bracha on the third cup. But that's only if you forgot the afikoman in total. But if you only forgot to lean, you don't eat another afikoman.
I got one quick question. What happened if you benched and you finished the Seder and you're in bed already and you remind yourself you didn't eat afikoman?
So in other words, you drank already the fourth kos.
Yes, you're about to go to sleep and you actually, for some reason, you forgot to eat afikoman. Even you reminded yourself in the middle of the night or in the morning.
Well, if it's in the morning,
What's late?
Well, if you remind yourself in the morning, eat the afikoman because the night is over. You're supposed to eat the afikoman by chatzos lechatchila, but b'di'eved, you can even eat it ad alos amud hashachar. If a person forgot to eat the afikoman, he has to go back, wash again, make a motzi on the afikoman, eat it while leaning, and then bench with another cup of wine, and then you fulfill the mitzvah. But you don't fulfill the mitzvah if you don't eat the afikoman. All right? Don't forget to eat the afikoman. Maybe that's one of the reasons why we have a custom that the kids so-called grab or steal the afikoman. It's wrong. It's not a good idea to teach children to say who's going to steal the afikoman, but you could say who's going to grab the afikoman. And grab is a word that the Gemara uses when it says chotfin matzah. When we come to the Seder, we're supposed to grab the matzah, meaning quickly get to start the Seder. And that gave rise to the concept of taking the matzah and hiding it so that the children will be involved. And of course, that in and of itself will remind us to eat the afikoman on time. I don't suppose people will really forget to eat the afikoman, but I just wanted to mention the halacha that if you forget, you actually have to wash all over again and eat the afikoman. After we finish the third cup, we say Hallel. And the Hallel includes the Hallel HaGadol, which includes Hodul Hashem Ki Tov Ki Li'olam Chasdo, and ending off with Nishmas and Yahalalucha, Melech Mula Batish Bachos. Please follow the order in your Haggadah. And after the fourth cup, we drink, after the Hallel, we drink the fourth cup of wine. Of course, before that, we filled Eliyahu Hanavi's cup. We invite Eliyahu Hanavi in, and we hope that he will visit Klal Yisrael and bring about the bringing of the Mashiach. Eliyahu Hanavi is the one who's going to announce the bringing of the Mashiach. And we have the Kos Shel Eliyahu. It's interesting that Chazal tell us that there are 5 Lashonos Shel Geula, V'Otzeisi, V'Yitzalti, V'Ga'alti, V'Lakachti, and then there's V'Hevesi. And V'Hevesi Eschem El Ha'aretz is the 5th cup, and that's the Kos Shel Eliyahu. When Eliyahu comes, we will once again have Eretz Yisrael under full sovereignty of Klal Yisrael, under the Melech HaMashiach. The last statement in the Haggadah, of course, is Chasal, Seder, Pesach, and Lashon Haba, the Yerushalayim. After that, we have the Nirtza. And the Nirtza is there for the purpose of bringing about the unity of Jewish people through the Mishalim that the songs of the Nirtza have. The songs of the Nirtza are reminders of all the travail, all the good things, all the wonderful things, all the future of the Jewish people, and by number, as we say, Echad Miyodeya. And of course, Chad Gadya is a very mystical song. It's extremely mystical. It's Chad Gadya, the Zabin Abba B'trei Zuzeh, and it goes through the destruction of the Malach HaMaves. And the Chassam Sofer has a very, very fascinating interpretation of Chad Gadya, which I'll share with you very, very quickly, because it is late. But if you take a look at the Chad Gadya, and we'll spend 2 minutes on it because that's the kind of thing we would probably not get to, but it's good to know. If you take a look, the Chad Gadya begins, my father bought a goat for 2 zuzim, okay? Along came a cat and ate the goat, a lion, a tiger, and ate the goat, which my father bought for 2 zuzim. So now the cat did something wrong. The cat went and ate the goat that I bought. It was my goat. He stole my goat. He ate my goat. He did something wrong. Okay, so the cat was wrong. Along comes a dog, and it bites the cat, which ate the goat. So the dog was right, because the cat had no right to eat my goat. Oh. So when the dog punished the dog was doing the right thing. After all, he deserved punishment. He shouldn't have eaten my goat. So it turns out that the cat was wrong, the dog was right, the stick was wrong, the fire was right, the water was wrong, and the ox that drank it was right, the shochet was wrong, and the Malach HaMaves was right, and then HaKadosh Baruch Hu comes and killed the Malach HaMaves. He was wrong? Wait a minute. HaKadosh Baruch Hu can't be wrong. What's going on over here? What's going on? If the cat was wrong, then the dog was right. It ends up that HaKadosh Baruch Hu was wrong in killing the Malach HaMaves. How do you understand this? So there's a very, very simple understanding. We said the cat was wrong and the dog was right for biting the cat. Not so. The dog was wrong. It's not your business. Stay out of it. Mind your own business. The cat ate the dog, let HaKadosh Baruch Hu take care of it. It's not your business. You're not supposed to go where you're not supposed to go. Because otherwise it would seem as if HaKadosh Baruch Hu was wrong when HaKadosh Baruch Hu was 100% right. So the dog was doubly wrong because he had no right getting involved in a fight that wasn't his. And consequently, every subsequent one was right, and ending up with HaKadosh Baruch Hu being 100% right for killing the Malach HaMaves. So that's just a little note on the Chad Gadya. Of course, it's really very mystical. There is this one goat that all the nations of the world are trying to kill over all the centuries.
I'm sorry, Rebbe, Mr. Mesrick cannot get in. Can the Rebbe call him?
Sorry, he can't get in. I don't know why he can't get in. He's probably pressing the wrong numbers. That's the assumption. We'll see if we can get in.
The Rebbe is calling you.
We'll try to help him get in. But, you have to be, he probably has the wrong numbers. Okay.
Because it's the money. That's why you want the man.
It's probably the more number.
Now, okay, let's get back to this. I don't want to take unfortunately too much time. Okay, so I'm glad you're back on. No, don't give up. You have the wrong number. You were pressing the wrong number. Otherwise, you could get on. This is the night number, not the day number. So that's probably the reason you couldn't get on. Okay, I don't know what it is, but you're on now. Okay, but you're on now, so let's, okay, Yehuda, I love you. Let's go on. Okay, welcome to the Zoom. So, therefore, when it comes to the Nirtza, we have to be aware of the mystical nature of these songs. Someone told me a very, very strange joke, but it's funny. You know, we say, who knows 1, who knows 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, who knows 13, I know 13, 13 are the Midos of Hashem, and it stops there. But somebody this year says, who knows 14? I know 14. 14 are the days of quarantine. So I just thought we would throw that in as a little sense of humor. But it ends on, of course, the Midos of Hashem. Now, at night, on both the first and second night of the Seder, it's known as Leil Shimurim. Consequently, we only say the first paragraph of the Shema with the Bracha Hamapil. We don't say any of the other paragraphs that are the shimur of one going to sleep. I must add, there are two things that I neglected to put into the Zmanim, which I want to do now. Number one, we daven Ashkenaz. Because we daven Ashkenaz, even if we would be in shul on the first day of Pesach, and we would be saying Tfilas Tal, which, by the way, is a tefillah of the Shliach Tzibur, and we're not having a Chazaras Hashat, so we will not be saying Tfilas Tal. I recommend you're reading it.
Well, Rabbi, we don't say it. Rabbi, we don't say it?
We are not going to be saying Tfilas Tal because Tfilas Tal is in the Chazaras Hashatz.
Oh,
okay.
that's right.
I want to know that.
Tfilas Tal. It's part of the Shliach Tzibur's tefillah.
Right.
If you want to read it and say it, you could say it, but there is no Tfilas Tal. All right?
Okay, ik zal zeggen waar ze morgen gasten.
Right. And so therefore, in the Musaf Shmona Esrei, even if we were in shul,
Right.
even if we were in shul, Ashkenaz would still say Mashiv Aruach Umarid Agoshem in the silent Shmona Esrei, because we would not hear anyone giving a bang Morid Hatal, because we don't say Morid Hatal. Only Nusach Sfard says Morid Hatal. So consequently, at the Musaf Shmona Esrei of the first day of Pesach, we still say Mashiv Haruach Umorid Agoshem. By Mincha, we do not say Mashiv Haruach Umorid Agoshem. Because if there would have been a Chazaras Hashatz, Morid Atol would have been mentioned in Tfilas Tal, and consequently we do not say Mashiv Haruach Umorid Agoshem by Mincha. We leave it out, and we do not say Morid Atol. Davening Ashkenaz in the United States of America cannot say Morid Hatal. If you say Morid Hatal, you are going against the Nusach. If you are an Israeli and you happen to be here, then you can say Morid Hatal in the silent Shmona Esrei. But you may not say Morid Hatal as a Shliach Tzibur when you are davening in a shul that davens Ashkenaz. Now, there are some people who don't listen to that. But
back to Kedusha, the same thing. Yeah.
Yes. The halacha is that anything that has to do with the minyan, you must daven that particular minhag. You cannot change it. Even in Kaddish, the people who are saying Kaddish and they're saying V'yatzma Perkone V'kone Mashiach, you can't do that when you're davening in an Ashkenaz shul, because it's a davar shebekdusha, and a davar shebekdusha can only be what we're supposed to say. Now that's the halacha. Some people are used.
What about people that are saying Kaddish, Rabbi? What do they say?
What about people who what?
I have to say Kaddish.
So you mean during Pesach?
No, when the shuls are closed.
You don't say Kaddish. We don't say Kaddish. I had your site before Rosh Chodesh Nisan. Couldn't daven with a minyan. I didn't say Kaddish. That's what Hashem wants. He wants me not to say Kaddish.
And even people that are saying it for the year, that they're in the year, you know.
Even if you're saying it because you just started sitting Shiva, you don't say Kaddish. One of my chaverim from the yeshiva never was sitting Shiva for a parent who passed away just yesterday. There's no Kaddish.
Wow.
Didn't have a minyan at the cemetery. You didn't have no minyan at home. There's no Kaddish. There's nothing you can do. That's the way it is. This is what Hashem wants. And if we're doing what Hashem wants, that means it's better than saying the Kaddish. Because if we go against the rules, he doesn't want that. So what good is that?
I know this is early, Rabbi, but what about for Yisker? We say Yisker at home?
Yisker you can say at home. Yes, Yisker you can say.
Okay.
Yes. Paragraph for Yisker you can say at home. Yisker you can always say. Okay, let's get to the first thing is that we're not going to bench Tal. We're going to say Mashiv Haruach Umorid Agoshem at the Musaf of the first day. In addition, please do not forget, on Motzei Shabbos, we begin to say the same bracha in the weekday Shmona Esrei. This is very important. We must say the same bracha, Motzei Shabbos, in the weekday Shemona Esrei. I'm announcing it tonight. I will announce it again tomorrow morning. If you know someone who normally would look at the video, please tell them. If I can, I'll send out a post about an email to remind everybody of these two crucial things, because we don't want to make a mistake. And the same bracha in Shemona Esrei, Motzoi, Shabbos, we start saying the same bracha. Okay, that ends our halacha for the day. And let's go now to the Haggadah itself. We're now up to the Haggadah, where it says, Baruch Shalom Chasal Yisrael. Blessed is the one who.
Wait a question now.
Please mute, Mr. Please mute your phone if you're talking to somebody else. Please mute it. We are on Baruch Shalom Chasal Yisrael. Blessed is Hashem who guards his shomer, his promise to the Jewish people. Baruch Hu. Blessed is Hashem. Sha'akadosh Baruch Hu chishav asaketz lasos. Because Hashem figured out the end to do what he promised to do. K'moshe ne'amar. K'moshe amar Avraham Avinu b'visvei nebsarim. Like he said to Avraham, our father, at the covenant between the pieces. Shene'amar. It says in that covenant, Vayom el Avram, Hashem said to Avram, Yodoa Teda, you should surely know, Ki ger yiyeh zaracha be'eretz lo lahem, guaranteed your children are going to be strangers in a land not theirs, va'avodum, and they will enslave them, ve'inu osam, and they will afflict them, arba me'os shana, for 400 years. V'gam, as agoya sheyavodu, and also the nation that they will serve, don anochi, I will judge them, says Hashem, v'achrei chen yetzu b'chush gadol, and afterwards they will go out with great possession. Now, there are so many issues in this little paragraph. We could spend the whole night just talking about this paragraph, but I'm going to highlight the major issues in brief to the best of our ability. Number one, it says, blessed is God that guarded and kept his promise to the Jewish people. Wait a minute. You mean if Hashem makes a promise, he has to guard it? And if he doesn't guard it, he doesn't have to keep it? In other words, blessed is Hashem that he kept his promise. You make a promise, you have to keep it. You don't have to say, blessed are you because you kept your promise. You're chayiv to keep your promise. There's no bracha accruing to Hashem for keeping a promise that he made to Avraham Avinu. That's question number one. Number two, what does it mean when it says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu chishav esaketz? Hashem figured out the end, like he told to Avraham Avinu, at the bris bein absarim, at the covenant between the pieces. Now, for those who don't know, very quickly, the covenant between the pieces refers to a very important section of Lech Lecha, where it talks about the bris bein absarim, the covenant between the pieces. HaKadosh Baruch Hu comes to Avraham in a dream, and he says to him, take an egel mishuleshes, the ayil mishuleshes, the ez mishuleshes. Take a calf 3 times, a ram 3 times, a goat 3 times, the Torah v'gozo, and a dove and a pigeon. I want you to take them and split them in half and put the pieces one next to the other and walk between them. Just the birds don't split. The birds you don't split, but the calf and the ram and the goat, you split them in half and you walk through them. And the birds you don't cut. I want you to know what it's a symbol for. It's a symbol for the following. You should know, now listen and figure out, what is Hashem promising here? Number one, Yodoa Teda, you should surely know, Ki ger yihi zaracha. Your nation is going to be a stranger. First step in the gullus of the Jewish people is you are made to feel like strangers. Second, in a land not theirs. In addition, va'avadum, they will enslave them. First we were gerim, then we were slaves. And then ve'inu osam, and then they're going to afflict them. And that's exactly what happened. First, we were made to feel like strangers by having to pay a special tax to live in Egypt, to build the cities of Pison and Ramses. Second, we had to physically be the slaves that built those cities. And third, he killed the male firstborn and afflicted the Jewish people. In every single history of the exile of the Jewish people, we find these 3 steps, says Rav Shamshon Raphael Hirsch. Every exile, think about the Nazis, the Machshemam v'Zichram. First, you're made to feel like a stranger. You have to wear an armband to show that you don't belong here. Second, concentration camps to work for the war effort. Third, we're going to gas you and burn you and kill each and every one of you. Affliction. And in every single exile of the Jewish people, this pattern shows itself, just as it did in the land of Mitzrayim. It's a prototype of all anti-Semitism. BDS, the same thing. The same thing. The Arabs make them evil people, make the Jews look bad. That's what the press does. The most democratic, the only democratic state in the entire Middle East is the villain. Make them the villain. Make them strangers. Then you can enslave them, and then you can afflict them. So that's what it says here, for 400 years. So those things came true. Now, then it says, also the nation that will enslave them, I will judge them. What do you mean you're going to judge them? If you, God, predicted that the nation has to do these things, that means that they were following your orders. If someone is following Hashem's orders, why should they be punished? Why should God judge them? They are doing what you asked for. They shouldn't be judged. They should be praised for fulfilling Hashem's word. The Ramban asks this question. He says, how could you judge them when they were doing what Hashem asked for? And he gives a fascinating series of answers. Number 1, do you think that they did this because Hashem said so? They weren't doing this because God said you should afflict them, or because Hashem said you should make them feel like strangers. They were doing it for their own nefarious purposes. That's number 1. Number 2, God said you should make them strangers, you should enslave them, you should afflict them. There are different ways of making the person feel like a stranger and enslaving them and afflicting them. If you have someone come to your house to act as a servant in your employ, if you treat them like a mensch, they're still a servant. They're not whipped or beaten or destroyed. They're not killed. They're still a servant. They're still strange. But you treat them like a mensch. A Jew takes a ride in a taxi cab and the driver is an Arab. Maybe he's wearing a turban. Maybe he's got a keffiyeh. But he's a gentleman. Don't we give him a tip anyway? Because that's what a mensch does. So these were not mentioned. These people were out for blood, says the Rambam. And consequently, God has a right to judge them. Number 3, they overdid it. Affliction is one thing. Taking babies and throwing them in the river is another. You overdid it. You're not supposed to destroy the nation. So there are 3 very, very good answers as to why they deserve punishment. I use the mashal often for something I saw my son-in-law do, which was a revelation. My granddaughter was in the house and she was playing around and broke something. So she started crying. So father called her over and said, did you do this? Did you break that? He said, no, I didn't break it. I didn't break it. I didn't. I wasn't anywhere near there. So the father said, you know, I understand you didn't want to tell me that you broke it, but you're not supposed to lie. For lying, you deserve to be patched. But I don't want to patch you now because I'm angry at you that you lied. So I want you to go to your room, come back in 10 minutes. When I calm down, then I'm going to give you a patch. So the kid was terrified for the next 10 minutes. Oh, you're gonna hit me, Rabbi. She came back 10 minutes later. He says, okay, give me your hand. So she puts her hand out and she's crying and he goes like this. Okay, you've been patched. She looks at him, she's smiling because he went like this. You got a patch because you lied. Don't lie again. What's the point? You can inflict somebody with gentleness. Who says you have to kill him? Who says you have to beat them and destroy them? So therefore the Ramban says they were punished because they overdid it for their own purposes. They didn't do it l'shem shamayim. Let's go back. There are three things we just said that the Egyptians did to the Jewish people. One, they made them feel like strangers. Two, they treated them like slaves. Three, they afflicted them. Take a look at the 10 plagues. Watch how each of the 10 plagues fits into this midah keneged midah. First plague, dam. What do they tell you when you travel to a foreign country? First thing, don't drink the water. Why? Because it's not for you. You can't drink their water. The Egyptians had water, but it turned to dam. You treated the Jews like strangers. You are now a stranger in your own land. You can't drink your own water. You treated them like gerim. You are a ger in your own land. Secondly, you thought you're better, a higher species than the Jew, and so you enslaved him. Let's understand each other. I've got a timid little frog that is so afraid of any movement. It's called safar deya, which is made up in the Aramaic two words, safar and da. Safra is morning. Da means knows the morning. The slightest shift in light, go down to a little pond where there are frogs all around the pond. Take a step and shade your light this way, and all of a sudden you'll hear them diving into the water because they saw the change of shade. Safar deya. They know the light. They're so timid, they're afraid of every human being. And along comes the frogs and they jumped into the houses, into the beds, into the ovens, into your bachar dar mishkovcha, into your bed. They were in there with Paro. You think you're better than the Jews? You're not even better than frogs. Because you deserve frogs because you enslaved the Jewish people. And third, Kailim, lice, you physically afflicted the Jews, you are going to be afflicted. And so it goes throughout the 10 plagues until Makas Bechoros, which of course is a combination of all three. If and when we get to it, we will discuss the 10 plagues at that time. So here Hashem says, and after this they're going to go out with a great possession. And our Chazal tell us that that great possession was nothing less than the giving of the Torah. The Torah was the great possession. When we left Mitzrayim, we were 40 days later standing on Mount Sinai, and we received the Torah 49 days later. Which reminds us, on the second night of Pesach, don't forget, start counting Spirit. Okay. All right, now, we come to the V'hisha Amdalavasini. At this point, we cover up the matzah, and we lift the kos and make a toast to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's like lifting a cup and saying, Yibana Shalom, thank you. We're making a toast. What's the toast? Vehi. And that promise that Hashem made, that Yodoa Teda, you should surely know, Ki ger yi ezaracha, ve'eretz lo lahem, arba meyoshana, ve'eretz lo lahem. They're going to be slaves for 400 years. Va'avodim ve'inu osam arba meyoshana. They're going to enslave them and inflict them for 400 years. V'gamas hagoy yashe yavodu don anochi, and also the nation that they shall serve, don anochi, I will judge. And then they're going to go out with great wealth. I want you to know that promise that Hashem made, that they're going to be judged, and we're going to end up with the better end of the deal. That has stood for us, for our forefathers, and for us in all generations. We know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to stand just as he did in Yetzias Mitzrayim for the Jewish people. The Mefarshim make a big deal about the Vehi, and it is what stood for the Jewish people over all the centuries. The Vav refers to Shisha Sidrei Mishnah. The Hey refers to the Chamisha Chumshei Torah. The Yud refers to the Aseres Hadivros. And the Aleph refers to Echad Elokeinu Bashamayim Uva Oretz. Those are the things that have stood for the Jewish people over all the centuries. The learning of Mishnah, the learning of the Torah Shebiksav, the Aseres Hadivros, which according to Reb Sadia Gaon, have in them all 613 commandments hidden within the words of the Aseres Hadivros. So that's what stood for us and our forefathers. Because it's not only one that has stood up against us to destroy us. In each and every generation, every single generation, there's something that tries to destroy the Jewish people. It's like amazing. 100 years can go by, and then all of a sudden, there's the person who wants to destroy. We figured after the Holocaust, that's it. That's it. But the Jewish people came home to Eretz Yisrael, a miracle of miracles, 2,000 years, and now we're the villains. And b'chol dor v'dor, omdim aleinu l'chaloseinu. They're getting against us to destroy us. However, it's Hashem himself who saves us from their hand. Take a look at this. I want to tell you over something that was discussed with the Balabatim of the past generation in the Young Israel Borough Park. And specifically, I'm going to mention Rav Yosef and Rav Yaakov Piatnik, Zechonam Levracha, who told me this. They said, Rabbi, you know how I read the Hisha Amda? I read it like this. Shelo echad bilvad. It's the fact alone that we are not one, that we are not united. Shelo echad bilvad. It's only because we are not united. Amad aleinu l'chaloseinu. That is what has stood to destroy us in each and every generation. The lack of unity of Klal Yisrael. Shelo echad bilvad. Amad aleinu l'chaloseinu. Only that has stood against us to destroy us. Not only that, but Ella, furthermore, shebechol dor v'dor. In each and every generation, omdim aleinu l'chaloseinu. There are enough enemies that are constantly seeking to destroy. However, only Hashem saves us from the hand. Now, the truth of the matter is, when someone looks at the Shoah, they look at the destruction of 1/3 of our people. 1/3. There isn't a nation in the world that would continue to exist if 1/3 of its people were destroyed. But like a phoenix rising from the ashes, the Klal Yisrael is as vibrant as ever. How does that happen? How does it happen that Look magazine in 1954, I think it was, or 55, can publish an article that in the year 2020, there will be a total of 5,000 to 10,000 Jews left in the United States of America, and they're all going to be Hasidic Jews. There won't be any modern Orthodox. There won't be anyone else. The Jewish people are going to die by the year 2020. Rabbi said we're in the year 2020. Look, magazine is dead, but we are well alive. It's amazing. It's amazing. Why? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu saves us from their hand. It's only the loyalty to the Torah that has promulgated the unbelievable success of the Orthodox Jewish community. We are more vibrant than ever. The wayward movements of Judaism are slowly but surely crumbling into non-Jewishness. Slowly but surely totally disappearing. Their numbers are dwindling at a more rapid pace than we can imagine. It's actually at a greater pace than the coronavirus. The Jewish communities outside the Orthodox Jewish communities are falling apart. And the reason for that is intermarriage, because the majority of these children are intermarried. And the Jewish nation is losing these people who are not loyal to its people. So it's HaKadosh Baruch Hu that saves us from the hand in each and every generation. And that's the end of the toast. Now, we don't have much time, but I want to point out the order of the rest of the Haggadah. Okay? Let's take a look at the rest of the Haggadah, because the rest of the Haggadah has a specific pattern. And that pattern is based on the first paragraph that's coming up right now. Let's take a look at it. Say ulamad, go and learn, ma bikesh Lavan ha'arami lasos liYaakov Avinu. Go take a look what Lavan the Aramean, the crook Lavan, wanted to do to Yaakov our father. Sheparo lo gazar el al azcharim. Paro only made a decree about killing the males. The Lavan bikesh lakar es hakol. But Lavan wanted to make it that there shouldn't be any Jewish people. Shenemar, as it says. And now, the Haggadah starts quoting psukim from Parshas Kisavo, in which, when we bring the Bikurim, we say the following psukim. Number one, Arami Ovi, an Aramean tried to destroy my father. That's Lavan. By Yerid Mitzrayim, and they went down to Egypt. By Yogar Shavim Seimaat, and he lived there, few in number. By Hisham Lagoy Gadol Tzumvarov, and he became there a great and powerful nation. Now, what the Haggadah then does is act like the Gemara. It takes this pasuk and it darshans every single word. For instance, Vayered Mitzrayim, it darshans it. Vayogar Sham, it darshans it. Shenemar, Vayomer El Paro Logor, it darshans it. You go to the next paragraph, then it says, Bimsei Ma'at, it darshans it. And it darshans all the psukim. And it goes further, and then a few pages later it says, "Vayoreyu osanu hamitzim vayanunu," and the Egyptians made us bad, and they afflicted us. Vayitnu aleinu avadakasha. And what do you know? What do you know? All these psukim are in Parshas Kisavo and Devarim. They're all talking about the bringing of Bikurim, and they're all talking about the history of the Jewish people going back to Yaakov Avinu until we get out of Egypt. And they're darshaning every single word. Now listen carefully. The rest of the Haggadah is predicated upon these psukim. All the rest of the Haggadah, up until Rabbi Gamliel Haya Omer, is based on these psukim. Why? Why? Because these are the psukim of Mikra Bikurim. These are the psukim of the reading, of the bringing of the first fruits. When we bring the first fruits to Yerushalayim, we recite these words to teach us the unbelievably most important value of all. Hakaras hatov, thankfulness for good. If one has hakaras hatov, then everything will flow from that. It will bring about the greatest of gifts for the Jewish people. Because when you appreciate the good, you appreciate the gift. When you appreciate the gift, you're happier. Life is more enjoyable. You recognize the gift of life that Hashem has given you. And you're appreciative once again. And that appreciation builds more thankfulness. And more thankfulness builds more joy, more simcha. The bottom line is Hakaras Hatov. And so all these psukim are going to talk about Hakaras Hatov. And that's why we go to Hodu Hashem Ki Tov L'Olam Chesed, which is called Halel HaGadol. Because if we have the thankfulness for all the good that we have, we're going to be much happier people, much better able to serve Hashem, because we recognize all the gifts that He gives to us on a regular basis. 100 brachas a day are not nearly enough to show all the thankfulness we have for the gifts that Hashem bestows upon us. All right, so the whole Haggadah from this point on is going to darshan these psukim. Starts with Lavan, who tried to destroy everything. We don't have time to go into why and how he wanted to destroy everything. It's quite a little bit of a nice explanation, but we'll leave the rest for now. What we're going to do is tomorrow morning. We're going to once again do the Daf Yomi at 7 a.m., following which Mechi Miller will be making Mirz Hashem a siyum online. Won't be able to say Kaddish, but it will be a siyum. We'll be able to eat afterwards, even if we are not physically present at the siyum. I remind everyone about trying to finish Hallel by Chatzos in the Seder if you can. Don't forget to make an Eruv Tavshilin.
Rebbe, I think that Eli, the seam is going to be on a different Zoom, no?
No, I spoke to him.
No, same one.
I spoke to him. He's going to be on the Daf Yomi Zoom.
Oh, okay. No, because I got Epis thing.
I spoke to him before. It's going to be on the Daf Yomi Zoom.
He sent the wrong one, Rob. He has to correct it. I texted him already. He has to send it.
Is that Daf Yomi Zoom?
On the Daf Yomi Zoom.
But he sent the nighttime one.
Okay, so I'll call him and tell him again. It's got to be the daytime Zoom. You did already? Very good.
I texted him already.
Okay.
Oh, the daytime Zoom, right? The daytime Zoom
is the
Daf Yomi. Yeah.
I told him the Daf Zoom. He said he would go on to the Daf Zoom.
Right.
All right.
Okay. And Motzei Shabbos 9:30.
Motzei Shabbos 9:30.
9:30. Okay.
We're going to be one block behind, but we'll see what we can do to catch up over the next week. We'll see if we can do it. If not, slowly but surely we'll get there. All right. So we're one block ahead now. We're going to be one block behind in 3 days. We're going to be 2 blocks behind, but we're going to catch up with 1 block, and then we'll only be 1 block behind. Okay. I remind everyone once again, don't forget Erev Tavshilin. Don't forget that we start saying we leave out Mashiv Rochum Aragashim by Mincha of the first day, but by Musaf we still say it. And don't forget the same bracha on Motzei Shabbos. We start saying the same bracha, and don't forget counting Sfiras Omer on Thursday night.
I bet you will forget. Somebody will forget.
Don't forget Sfiras Omer. It's part of the Seder actually on the second night. So
right.
Please don't forget to start counting Sfiras Omer. It's a challenge that we can all rise to and we can all manage to fulfill. I want to wish everyone a wonderful good night.
Two program notes. I did add on the website, as Rob requested. It was a great idea by David Aronowitz. Once we're not in shul and we're not able to put in the pushka every day, which is an important mitzvah, as the Rav explained, and of course we know it. So right on top, above where the Rav Shiurim are listed, where you can go back and listen if you missed anything. It's hard to retain it all, so it's good to go over. But on top, there's a link. It's called Pushka, and you can go into your account and add in your donation. And the second program note is...
can I just say that the donation doesn't have to be a large one. If you put $1 a day in, that's fine.
Where is that?
Where is that?
Go to the website, and right on top, you'll see it says Pushka.
Oh, you mean on the regular website?
Regular website, yep.
Right.
Yep.
So thanks to Aronowitz, who became a Gabbai Stalker on this beautiful idea. I just will mention what I told him. The Rambam says if you can give $100 to tzedakah, and you can give it by giving 10 times $10, or 1 time $100, or 100 times $1, the Rambam says you give 100 times $1, because each act of giving is a separate mitzvah. So that's why we're going to do it every day. Yashikar David.
It may be cumbersome. You have to do it every day, but I couldn't find any other way to do it. But
that's the best thing. I ran out of singles, so I couldn't put them aside anymore. So that's the way to do it. It's a good idea.
Okay, and $1, $10, whatever the amount is that you want, it's all available.
And what was the second thing, David? What was the second thing you wanted to say?
It also incorporated with that. If you want to still give Ma'as Chitim, we did pledge a certain amount to Tov B'chei Shabbos. We took care of it, but we're still collecting for it. But we've already, if you want to give, you can do it by the pushka also. There's a box for a note. You say also a certain amount that, you put it all together. Put $1 amount in there, but say that you want to give something to Ma'as Chitim as well to be part of that very important mitzvah. That
again, what site? YIBA?
YIBethel.org. YIBethel.org.
Okay.
YIBETHEL.org.
Errol, you should know that by now.
Everybody say have a good night. Yeah, Chicago to everybody.
Chicago, thank you.
Have a
I
good
hope
Yom Tov.
everybody remembered to do B'tikas Chometz.
Yeah, we did.
Don't forget tomorrow we flush.
Okay. Have a good Yom Tov, everybody.
Tomorrow morning, Hadaf, so you can join then.
Okay, Harry, talk to you later.
Have a good Yom Tov, Hesh.
Have a good night.
Okay.
All right. I'll call you.
Everybody, good night, and thank you, Rebbe.
Thank you, Robert.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, good night, Robert.
Good night.
Good night, Mel.
Good night.